Well, my friends that are watching out there, this man is one of my best friends, one of my biggest mentors for as far as everything goes, family for life. And for those of you who don't know who this man is, he's from Jersey, younger fella, and he just started into business about 2 or 3 months ago. And we figured we'd have him on tonight. And it is my honor to introduce to you the one and only, and what a great opener for tonight, Mr. Mike Walter.
Hello, Sean. Hello, everybody. I don't know who's tuned in, but thank you. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for having me on, Sean. I appreciate it.
Pleasure. So it is yours. It's the screen is yours, my friend.
All right. Well, you asked me to prepare one topic to talk about, and
correct.
It's top of mind right now for me because we are right before our busy season of the spring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is the time where I usually start recruiting because we're going to need some new talent. We're going to need some new assistants, some new techs. And then hopefully from that pool, we usually try to find some potential superstars, I usually do this twice a year, April and August. It's good. It helps me to remember the 2 months that begin with the letter A. That's when I start actively recruiting. First thing I'll do is I'll put ads on Craigslist and also on Facebook job market. They definitely tend to help. If anything, they get me too many leads. And then I got to meet with a bunch of people and weed out a lot of people because even though I put in, descriptions in my ads like enthusiasm and outgoing personality and even reliable transportation, that says it right in the ad, but you'd be surprised sometimes somebody shows up and I say, how'd you get here to the office? And they'll say, oh, my mom drove me. Oh, why is that? Because you don't have a driver's license yet. Well, can't hire you. You know what I mean? So even though those disclaimers are in there, I believe in meeting with people face to face. You can do an initial Zoom consultation, but I would much prefer to have people come into my office, meet face to face, see if they can make eye contact with me, see if they can actually carry on a conversation and have a personality. Those things are important. So the two main things I do is Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, but I also encourage my current staff to think about their friends and their acquaintances and people that may know, because they may know somebody who is perfect for the job. I have always found, the saying is birds of a feather flock together. If you've got an outgoing person who loves music and has a good personality, well, chances are he or she knows other outgoing people who love music and love going out and having a good time. And those are some of the traits I'm looking for. So always encourage your staff to, hey, when you think about it, anybody and I've gotten some great leads we built the staff, the roster a lot through, secondary referrals from people. And then the other thing that I always am doing is keeping an eye out for potential talent. I'm always looking for, any walk of life, whether it's a waiter who's waiting on me at a restaurant or a bartender or somebody I've just may bump into. And I'm always thinking to myself, I call it my DJ radar. Like, would that person make a good DJ? And again, as I look over my roster, there's plenty of DJs that are on staff that I basically just actively recruited because I thought they had a great personality. So when it comes to bringing in new talent, one of the things that I've always done, going back to the first company that I worked for back in the 80s, is I have an entry level position. And I highly encourage, especially if you're going to advertise, no experience necessary, which I do. I would rather bring people in that have no experience in the DJ industry. But then obviously I'm not going to 3 weeks later give them the responsibility of their own party. So there needs to be kind of a stepping stone or a pathway to success in your company. And that's got to start with some kind of entry level position. For us, it's an assistant to the veteran DJs like myself, like Dominic, like Tom, like any of the guys on staff. They come in, they assist with us for a while. And when I say a while, months and months before they start getting more responsibilities. Maybe if somebody is showing me the right personality and the right professionalism, we're going to ask them to like bring out lights and they can make extra money bringing out some of the upgrades, or we might move them into the photo booth division or what have you. And then the ultimate landing spot, obviously, somebody that checks off all the boxes is I train them to become an MC. And that's where they can become basically a superstar within the company. And then the last thing, I'm just looking down at my notes. And then the last thing I just wanted to mention and remind my other multi-op owners that bringing in new talent, besides adding somebody new to your roster, it can have a ripple effect with the rest of your DJs. And often it just means everybody steps up their game. When you bring in a hotshot new DJ, he's going to make all the veterans on staff and everyone else on staff basically say, oh, I got to keep working hard. I can't become complacent. Look, Mike is hiring and training again. And I like that. Not that I don't want my people to feel comfortable, but I don't want them to feel complacent.
You've talked about hiring for years. You've written,
yes.
I mean, you've even gone to the point of writing a book about it.
I did. Thank you for shoehorning that in, John. I appreciate it.
You guys can find it out on Amazon, by the way. We'll put the link in the description here in just a bit. But let's talk about the other side of it. When it comes to having someone who isn't cutting it, you've been working with them and you've had that, and you're just. What are some of the things that basically get to the point where you're like, okay, I cannot fix whatever this problem is, and it's time to part ways? Because there's some things you can fix.
John, one of the things I find is endemic in people. People are either early or late people. And if you're a late person, if you're just somebody who's constantly running behind and constantly late, even if it's just 10, 15 minutes, to me, that's a deal breaker. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, from what I've found, some people just can't fix it. Some people can, if you give them a warning and explain to them how important tardiness is, they can fix it. But some people just cannot fix it. For some reason, they have an internal clock that is just always running late. And that's probably the number one reason why I've had to let people go, is just they just can't seem to show up on time. And when you're an assistant and you show up late, it's annoying because now the MC has to load in by himself instead of. But if you're a headliner and you show up late, it can be catastrophic. So I just can never allow a late person to ever get to the ultimate role for us. Personality,
have you usually weeded that out pretty well in an interview process, that you don't have a time where you're like 2 months in, you're like, this person's personality just is not working for us?
I mean, I'm not saying everybody and nobody ever gets by me, but yeah, usually in the interview process, you can tell somebody either has enthusiasm, has charisma, or doesn't have it. But yeah, every once in a while, somebody will kind of like, the interview is a first date and they put on all the right, they say all the right things, they act all the right way, and then you bring them out to an event. And the biggest problem nowadays is these things, too many people are just on their phones the whole time. And I'm like, dude, you got to get off your phone. We're at a party. People are paying us to be here. Look up, smile, have a good time. That's another one of those things. If I have to say it too many times, then you're probably on your way out.
Mike, I got a question for you.
Sure.
We've known each other for a while, and I've seen, you hire a guy that hire a person that you think is going to be a rock star, and they start doing the right, and then all of a sudden, the morning of an event, they say, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. Seen it, watched it, listened. Do you get that often or no?
I mean, I get it in the assisting role. I've never had it. I've never had it happen. Once somebody reaches that headliner position, they're pretty much, they've been vetted enough that that's not going to happen. But I mean, it just happened last fall. I remember I was out at my favorite breakfast place and I got a text message from a kid, again, an assistant, and he said, I can't do the event today. And it was like 2 hours away from arrival time. So, I mean, fortunately, I had somebody stand on standby on call. We were able to plug the hole. We were able to fill it. But I mean, that's just somebody, and he probably had done like 7 or 8 jobs for us. Right. So he wasn't a long time veteran, but he had been with us a couple months. And I mean, the amazing thing was I had worked with him recently, like a week or two before that. And he was telling me how much he loves this job. And, he hopes to, have a career with and then 2 weeks later, I'm not going to come today. So It happens.
Yeah. Well, Johnny, anything else from you, man?
I think we are good. Let's
Mike.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
My
10
pleasure.
minutes
Thank
of
you for having me on. I'm looking forward to hearing from everybody else. The roster tonight looks amazing. I'm honored to be the leadoff guy and looking forward to hearing from everybody else.
John, can I say he passed the audition?
Well, you might have to.
It's up to you, John. You're the judge.
I still got to prove myself. I get it. I get it.
He could be just. He might be a flash in the pan. One hit wonder.
I might be a bubble guy. I might be on the bubble. You let me know.
We're at the perfect time for it. We got NCAA basketball
That's
on
it.
the bubble, baby.
That's it.
But again, everybody out there, please, Mike Walter, thank you, my friend.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
have a great rest of the night.
Yep,
thanks, buddy.
Bye.